And
Ms. Goodell?
I'll take the call. Mr. Anderson?
Yes.
Ms. Dimick?
Yes.
Ms. Downs?
Yes.
Ms. Litton?
Aye.
Mr. Reitinger?
Yes.
Ms. Russell?
Yes.
And Mr. Webb?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll move on now to 8.02. Thank you for the reminder. You would think I'd have that by now. Thank you very much. Moving on to the consent agenda, I would seek unanimous consent to approve the consent agenda as presented. Seeing no objections, so ordered. Thank you. And now we will move on to our business and action and begin with Dr. Noonan's proposed FY21 budget presentation. Dr. Noonan.
Thank you, Chairman Anderson, Vice Chair Russell, members of the board, staff, and friends. Good evening. I'm presenting to you from a very different place than I normally do, maybe a little bit further than we're used to. But tonight is a very special night, and it's the night that the superintendent gets to present his proposed budget to the school board for consideration. So good evening and Happy New Year. Tonight I do have the honor, the privilege, and the duty to present to you a needs-based budget for the City of Falls Church Schools. But before I begin the presentation this evening, there's a couple of people that I want to spend just a second in particular thanking for their incredible work. And first I want to start with Kristen Michael, our Chief Operating Officer. Kristen has been integral in pulling together slides and data and information and has really made this presentation what it is. And right by her side, working incredibly hard as well as our Director of Budget, Michelle Kopic. And Michelle, I want to thank you as well. In addition to Kristen and to Michelle, I want to take just a second to recognize our school leaders that are here this evening. We have an opportunity to welcome Tim Kasich, Matt Hills, and Valerie Hardy, as well as Rebecca Sharp, our Director of Special Education. We also have Mary Beth Connolly, who also serves as our Community and Communications Outreach person, and Casey Mako is here. So welcome, Ms. Mako. We're really glad you're here, and with your kids even. So thank you, girls, for coming. It is a pleasure to welcome them here as well, because they have also been integral in the development of the budget. This is not something that is coming to you in isolation. This is something that's coming to you with a lot of conversation behind it. Tonight's budget story, in my humble opinion, is a good one. FCCPS is positioned well to remain highly competitive with respect to employee compensation, and we have successfully eliminated items that were on last year's unfunded list, and also have an opportunity this year to refine our budgetary allocations based on our three big ideas and areas of emphasis, which are International Baccalaureate for All, a caring community and climate, and closing gaps. Tonight's budget that I present to you really is a representation of our values as a school system and as staff. We are able tonight to present to you a balanced budget that not only meets the needs of our community, our students, and our employees, but it also builds upon the strong relationships we have with our city government partners as we continue through a phase in Falls Church that is essentially a blooming renaissance. Through good conversations and a partnership we've been in and working on to share costs, revenues in a way that are consistent with other jurisdictions, this year, just like last year's, we're able to navigate our budget within the City Council's budget guidance of 3.1%. The first slide of content that I'd like to share with you tonight is our foundation. This is our work around our vision and our mission here in the City of Falls Church. And if you'll indulge me for a second, because I think it's important, I'd like to just read our mission statement. And it says that Falls Church City Public Schools is a student-centered, innovative, and inclusive community of lifelong learners. We aspire to be the premier international baccalaureate school division. We strive to create a personalized environment that supports each child's unique needs and prepares every student to be a responsible, caring, and internationally minded citizen. Tonight's budget does those things. In addition to that, on this slide, what you'll see on the left are those characteristics and qualities of the learner profile that are associated with International Baccalaureate, and I was struck this evening as I was watching the video with Kenny George and the CTE program and thinking about how his work in CTE, along with English teachers, along with science teachers, and the integration of content really speaks to all of those profile traits. And tonight's budget, again, builds on those ideas. This is our placemat. This is what we would consider essentially our North Star. It is the document that we as leaders in the City of Falls Church Schools, to include teachers, directors, coordinators, paraprofessionals, and the like, look to determine what are those things that we are committed to. As a consequence of having this North Star, one of the things that we spend a lot of time doing is tying back to this document to make decisions that are strategic, that we know if we're successful in, we will continue to get better as a school system and remain one of the best school divisions in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and dare I say, one of the best around the country. So here you will see the qualities of IB for All, a caring community and closing the gap, and some of the pieces that fall under that. So some of the things you'll see is under IB for All, for example, is that collaborative teams are fostering approaches to learning and approaches to teaching. Or that every classroom in our schools are infused with IB instructional practices grounded in a model of inquiry. Under a caring community and culture, we continue to build positive relationships with the students we serve, the parents in our community partners, and the like, that are safe and secure and bully-free. We focus on the social and emotional needs of our students and their health in our community. And under closing the gaps, one of the things that we're committed to is equity for all of our students, centering students that are on the margin back into the center, looking at multi-tiered systems of support so that we can support adequately those students that need extra time and support for learning who may not have gotten it the first time. This placemat essentially is backed up ultimately by the Triennial Plan. And this Triennial Plan is our strategic plan that incorporates many of the strategies and outcome goals that we have that are associated with our Triennial Plan. So that essentially sits on top of this. So if the community or staff or the board were interested in seeing very specific actions that we're taking to meet those three big ideas within the placemat, this would be the place to go to look at those. So we are a successful system. One measure, and I'll repeat that, one measure of success of a school system in the Commonwealth of Virginia are our pass rates on the standards of learning assessments. It is something that we have to pay attention to, because if we don't, what doesn't get paid attention to might not get done. And so it's very important to us to pay attention to these. And this year, as I've stated to the board before and to our community, for the first time in 4 years, we achieved a 90% pass rate in all of the assessed areas. And something that we're very, very proud of. Some other measures of success that I think are important to pay attention to as well are, how are our students college and career ready? And these are metrics that come out from the state of Virginia, the Commonwealth of Virginia's Department of Education. And here, this chart shows the students on the left-hand side are Falls Church City Public Schools. The students on the right-hand side are the students across the state. The dark blue portion of the pie chart represents the advanced diploma. So in the City of Falls Church Schools, students who are leaving George Mason High School at a 72% rate are leaving with the advanced diploma, which means that they're completing a sequence of courses that have prepared them much better for a college and career experience than if they had gotten the standard diploma. They've seen a sequence of mathematics all the way through. They've seen a sequence of history, English all the way through, and the like. The light blue is the standard or other diplomas. That doesn't suggest that students aren't college or career ready if they get the standard diploma. They just haven't completed some of the core sequences that the students that have achieved the advanced diploma have. And then the purple in the chart are GED certificates and other non-graduates. I share this because it's a really interesting contrast to me as you look at the City of Falls Church Schools versus the state. On the state side, you'll see 51.5% of the students are earning the advanced diploma, while 40% are earning the standard diploma. The purple area that's represented on the state is a small sliver like ours, but in addition to the state pie, you will see an orange or red section, and that's 5.6%, and that represents the dropouts. You won't notice any of that color on our chart, and it's a real testament to the extraordinary work that all of our teachers do from pre-K to 12 to prepare our kids to walk across the stage at Constitution Hall in June and get their diploma from George Mason High School. Another measure of success for us is student achievement in the International Baccalaureate program. And the big takeaway that I hope you will glean from this slide when we talk about IB for All is that if you attend the City of Falls Church schools between the grades of K and 10, you are in the International Baccalaureate program. There's no way around it. We have the primary years program at our elementary schools. We have the middle years program, which runs from grade 6 to grade 10 between the middle and the high school. And at that point, students have an option to continue taking IB courses, and they can take a series of courses in combination to try and achieve the International Baccalaureate diploma, or students can simply take a couple of courses that they like to take, that they have interest in within the area of IB. That being said, one of the things you'll note on the left-hand side within the data is that 86% of our junior class and 87% of our senior class last year enrolled in at least one International Baccalaureate program. In 2018, we had 47 diploma candidates and 40 students were awarded the diploma. And in 2019, 50 diploma candidates and 47 diplomas were awarded. Again, I want to also reinforce a comment that I made earlier, and that is that while the International Baccalaureate courses have the IB moniker, whether it's an IB course or not, the approaches to learning and the approaches of teaching are infused in every single class across the system here in the City of Falls Church. Some other areas of recognition which I think are worthy of mention. At the secondary level, we have the National World Strides Music Festival. We've been successful in the IB Art Exhibition. Give Day, the Science Fair, and Husky Awards continue to be big events for us across the system. Tonight, we celebrated our Champions of Character, which are not only students that are academically performing, not only performing on the field, but they're also performing beyond that and being really of great quality within our community. We have 1418, that's all we need to say in the City of Falls Church. 1418, of course, is our robotics team. It's a number that everybody knows, and they are super successful again this year. And our Cyber Patriots team continue to participate and move forward in the state rounds around cybersecurity challenges. Some other recognitions that didn't make this that I want to just mention that are of note recently, the Virginia High School League recognized our theater students as state champions. Some of you saw the show last night at Creative Cauldron. And then our mock trial team also were VHSL champions this year as well. At the elementary level, we continue to be incredibly competitive in Word Masters challenges, Math Olympiad, MathCon, and Odyssey of the Mind. These are not only local competitions, they're regional, national, and international competitions. We have well-rounded, strong students here in the City of Falls Church schools. We are, as Mr. Hills said earlier in his presentation, T-minus 365 days. But it's more like T-minus 355 days to the opening of the new George Mason High School on the site right next to the current George Mason. This is a huge project for the schools and an incredible undertaking for the community. So we've built this budget this year, again recognizing that there are a lot of things happening in our community that we need to be thoughtful about, cognizant about, but also at the same time recognizing that we have needs as a school system and need to work within what we have to be able to meet those needs. So keeping in mind that we are working through George Mason High School was at the top of our mind as we were developing this budget. I want to talk just briefly about enrollment projections in the process. The school board is aware of this, but I want to make sure the community is as well. Projections for the school system are prepared each year by the Cooper Center at the University of Virginia. The Cooper Center is a well-revered center for statistics to the extent that they also are used by the state of Virginia to identify how tax revenues are dispersed to all school all school divisions. The data that we look at are twofold, or that they look at and take into account as they're doing their projections. The first is they're looking at birth data, and the second is they're looking at cohort data and membership counts from the prior year. The one thing they're not looking